Fun facts. My name is Prachi. After the inventor of the Pringles can died, he was actually cremated and his ashes were stored in a Pringles can. And this is a video in which I discuss all of my September and October empties. Alrighty lads, did you know I tend to film my intros actually all the way at the very end of the video? So you're actually seeing me like after I've finished talking about every single thing that I'm going to be talking about. And you know, every single week when I sit down to film a video, I'm like, you know, this is just gonna be something like light and fun and quick, and I'm only gonna be talking for like 30 minutes and that's that on that. And then it's like I open my mouth and just like word vomit everywhere. I genuinely thought when I set up all of this to film that this was going to be like a very, very short and sweet video. In order to mitigate the fact that I just like cannot shut up, I'm going to put some timestamps either in the description box or in a pinned comment down below. And that way, if there's like any particular products or category of products that you're interested in hearing me talk about and give a review of, etc., you can just skip to that section. So since I don't want to lengthen this already very long video, without any further ado, let's get it. Let's knock the two hair care empties out really quickly. So the first one is the sample pack of the Living Proof Perfect Hair Day shampoo and conditioner. From what I can see, the shampoo is supposed to be sulfate free and the conditioner is supposed to be silicone free. Now, here's the thing. The current shampoo and conditioner I use are already sulfate free and silicone free. It's a drugstore shampoo and conditioner from the brand Maui Moisture. So I was interested to see how well my current shampoo and conditioner would stack up against this higher end one. The Perfect Hair Day shampoo and conditioner actually gave me like bad hair days, or at the very least worse hair days than my drugstore sulfate and silicone free shampoo and conditioner. This shampoo, even though it's sulfate free, meaning that technically it's supposed to be like gentle or whatever, it actually made my relatively short hair feel very, very rough and tangled. My normal drugstore sulfate free shampoo from Maui Moisture does not do that. And then, you know, I thought maybe the shampoo's gonna make my hair really tangly, but then the conditioner will come in, smooth it all out, and then it'll redeem the entire situation. No. I have very short hair, y'all. And even on my very short hair, this conditioner was bad at removing the tangles caused by the accompanying shampoo. And it's absolutely baffling to me how my like drugstore bought at Walmart shampoo and conditioner that also happened to be sulfate and silicone free do a much better job than this. I'm super disappointed in this, but also really glad because it just goes to show that I don't need to be spending obscene amounts of money on shampoo and conditioner. Anyway, the general consensus is if you're looking for a sulfate-free shampoo and a silicone-free conditioner, avoid this thing like the plague unless you want your hair to look like a giant rat's nest on top of your head. The second hair care thing is this dry shampoo. This is the Batiste Instant Hair Refresh Dry Shampoo in the shade Clean and Light Bare. Batiste dry shampoo is like a tried and true favorite of mine. Of all of the dry shampoos that I've possibly tried on this earth, it's one of the few ones that actually genuinely works on my very, very greasy hair. So prior to this dry shampoo, I was actually using one by Organix, and it was this like green tea mousse shampoo. I bought it in March of my no-buy year, and I talk about how it was the worst in my March hits, misses, and no-buy kisses, which I'm gonna link up into the cards with the timestamp. I finished that dry shampoo a little bit before I moved. So that would be like the last week of July, and I didn't want to like bring a bunch of trash into my new house. So I just took a photo of it and then recycled it before I moved. That dry shampoo, 0 out of 10, would not recommend. It doesn't work. Like if you have really oily hair and then you put that in your hair doesn't look any less greasy. Like it completely fails in its function as a dry shampoo. And so sometime in the first week of August, I went out and I bought this Batiste dry shampoo. And I unfortunately burned through this baby really fast, especially once we hit the latter half of September and the first couple weeks of October. So this has all the way run out. However, what I've done is I've forced myself to not buy any more dry shampoo. As a way to just make myself sort of deal with my depression and actually address like my mood issues and go for a shower every day, I just have not let myself buy a dry shampoo. At some point, I'm probably gonna like cave and get another one, but for now, I am all out of dry shampoo. There's no dry shampoo in my house, and that's just like an empty category that I am leaving empty in order to kind of force myself to get up and shower every day. This is the only one that I've ever found that actually works for my hair. I've tried like a bunch of different ones from a bunch of different brands like over the years, including that Organix one that was like the moussey one, and every single time I stray away from this, whether it's for a brand that's more expensive or less expensive, I find that it's just like not as effective on my hair. The Batiste one comes in like a gajillion different scents. I've tried a bunch of the different ones. I really wish they had an unscented one, but I don't think they do. At least they don't carry any in the stores that like I've seen Batiste in. So this Clean and Light Bare one, as well as the original one, which has something of like a fresh laundry-esque scent almost, I find that those two are my favorites. This is great. If I were repurchasing one, I would probably repurchase this, but I'm not letting myself do that for now. All right. Let's do the skincare stuff. I finished the last cleansing oil that I own. So this is the Simple Sensitive Skin Experts Hydrating Cleansing Oil. So this is basically just like pure grapeseed oil and then an emulsifier. So I use cleansing oil every single night as my first step in my nighttime skincare routine. I basically use it to like melt off all of my makeup, my mascara, all of that kind of stuff. This was fine. It was like a pretty good bottle of grapeseed oil. Unfortunately, when I went back to Shoppers Drug Mart to go buy this, like I couldn't find it anymore, and so I ended up going to like a random Asian grocery store and just buying the cheapest cleansing oil from there, and that would be this Innisfree Apple Seed Cleansing Oil. So whereas this simple hydrating cleansing oil like had absolutely no fragrance at all because it was just grapeseed oil and then an emulsifier, this has like really intense, almost like apple Jolly Rancher is the best way I can describe the smell. It's like that really, really artificial apple smell. But it's doing like an adequate job, so I'm just gonna continue using it all the way up until it's used up, and then I won't repurchase this. I'll either go back to my like faithful Face Shop one, or I'll see if this one's available or something like that. The other cleansing product that I ended up using up is this Face Shop Mango Seed Cleansing Foam. So this is like ancient. I bought this the year that Face Shop first arrived in Canada. So I don't know what year that was, like 2013, 2014, I don't know. I just realized I'm looking at the back of this and this says this expired in 2018-01-29. So I've been using an expired face wash. It's that face wash where it's like you put the tiniest amount, like a pea-sized amount, maybe even smaller, and then you add some water and you rub and it generates like a huge amount of foam. I used to think that that was like really, really cool, but turns out that the downside of that type of a cleansing foam is that they tend to be like really, really stripping, harsh, and drying for your skin. Like this was a cleanser that at the end of it, like my skin would feel like tight and dry and like squeaky clean. Also, this style of a cleanser is really, really soapy, meaning that it's really, really alkaline. And it's preferable to use cleansers that are closer to your skin's actual pH, which is somewhere between 5 and 6. Cleansers like this tend to have a pH of something like 7, maybe 8, sometimes even like 9. So as much fun as I had using this up as like a second cleanse in my nighttime skincare routine, I would not ever repurchase it, nor would I repurchase any products like this. I do still have other cleansers that I need to use up. Okay, so the next category of empty is moisturizers, and I have 3 of them here. So I have 2 sort of mini sizes. One is the Clinique Dramatically Different Hydrating Jelly. The other is the Drunk Elephant Protini Polypeptide Cream. This was part of the birthday present that Sephora gave out this year. And then the last is a full size of the Belif The True Cream Aqua Bomb. My god, what's happening? So let's just run through the quick mini reviews of all of these. So this Clinique Dramatically Different Hydrating Jelly, this was basically a transparent jelly texture. And the way that Clinique advertised this was by saying that this was like going to add an extra burst of hydration. The reason why they were able to make that claim is because this dramatically different hydrating jelly basically had hyaluronic acid in it. So hyaluronic acid is distinct from things like glycolic acid or salicylic acid. It's not an exfoliating acid. What it actually is a humectant. What that means is it's able to attract and hold onto moisture from its surroundings. So if, for example, you apply a product containing hyaluronic acid onto wet skin, the hyaluronic acid inside the product will grab onto all of the water on your already damp skin, but what it won't do is prevent that water from evaporating away. So hyaluronic acid always has to be used in conjunction with some sort of an occlusive cream. The thing about this dramatically different hydrating jelly is I don't know if it necessarily had anything that could function as an occlusive. I think this was purely like a humectant product, which means that I think if you use this, just this, as like your moisturizer, I'm not sure that it would actually be really good at hydrating your skin. But the way that I personally tended to use this, because I doubted that this would be sufficient as like a full-blown moisturizer at preventing the evaporation of water from my skin, what's called transepidermal water loss, I ended up basically using this as like a serum step. So on days when I felt like my skin needed like an extra boost of water or hydration, I would just apply this as like a serum step and then put a moisturizer on top of it. And it was fine, like it did a good job. The hyaluronic acid in it did its thing, but I don't think you need to be blowing necessarily Clinique level money to be getting hydration benefits from hyaluronic acid, which is the primary thing in this jelly moisturizer. You can get hyaluronic acid in a lot of different textures. You can get it as a liquidy toner from Hada Labo, you can get it as a gel cream from either Belif or Neutrogena, and you can even get it as a clear jelly from Indeed Labs. I don't think you need to be blowing Clinique money on it, is basically the thing. So it was good, but I don't think it was necessarily worth the money. So speaking of hyaluronic acid and gel creams, let's just discuss the Belif True Cream Aqua Bomb Light Gel Cream for the face. So Belif has two versions of this cream, the Aqua Bomb and the Moisture Bomb. The Aqua Bomb is the lighter texture of the two. So it's actually light blue in color, it's almost translucent, and it's a gel cream. So it actually has a very beautiful light gel texture that forms like a really beautiful barrier on your skin to help keep moisture in. If you have genuinely oily skin, a gel cream formula is what you want. You actually will find the gel cream texture like really frequently now in the West, and it's in large part due to the popularity of this product. So Neutrogena, for example, has their Hydra Boost gel cream, and it's basically like a straight up ripoff of this. However, the one really incredible thing about the Neutrogena Hydra Boost gel cream, at the very least the one that's made for sensitive skin, is that it is actually fragrance and essential oil free. The Belif True Cream Aqua Bomb, I believe, either has synthetic fragrance or essential oils, neither of which is particularly very good for skin, right? Both fragrance and essential oils, they can be really irritating and sensitizing towards skin, and they don't really have a role in skincare aside from like aesthetics and feeling. So because of that, I would actually say that the Neutrogena Hydra Boost Gel Cream, the one for sensitive skin that's fragrance free, it's actually a better version of this product than this product itself. Because I just don't want to deal with anything that's like potentially sensitizing or could flare up acne on my skin. So the texture of this, when it came out, absolutely revolutionary, but you can now find it for much cheaper in a bunch of other K-beauty brands and even in Western brands like Neutrogena. So that's that on that. Let's discuss this Protini Polypeptide cream. Drunk Elephant's marketing is all about like the suspicious six. And here's the thing, a couple of the things that Drunk Elephant lists as being suspicious, so for example, fragrance, essential oils, I'm 100% on board with that because there are so many studies in dermatology that show that fragrance and essential oils are just high-key bad for your skin. However, one of their suspicious six are silicones. Silicones in skincare, in dermatology, in medicine have been extensively and heavily studied. All of the non-biased peer-reviewed research says that barring people who have a specific sensitivity to silicone, like a straight-up silicone allergy, like most humans will tolerate silicone really well. So the inclusion of things like silicones as part of Drunk Elephant's suspicious six, it's already sus in and of itself. And like, I'm not a very big fan of that because I hate people who are fear-mongering, right? Like people who are like, oh, like that's not organic, that's not natural, like how could you be putting that on your skin, blah blah blah. Those are my least favorite type of people in this world because I'm like, you know what's natural? Poison ivy. It's not good for you though. The idea that like everything natural is like good in this world and everything like unnatural isn't good in this world, I'm like, that's such a scam. The point I'm trying to make is like some of the rhetoric of Drunk Elephant, especially some of the rhetoric by like the brand's founder, Tiffany Masterson, I think is her name. I'm not sure. It's very like, wee woo, like chemicals are bad. Everything should be natural and organic, and anything generated in a lab is just the absolute worst. And when I hear that, I'm just like, ugh. That being said, this Protini Polypeptide cream, not bad. Not the best cream I've ever used, but also not the worst cream ever. Like, I think this was just middling. The idea behind this cream is that it contains a whole bunch of like peptides and polypeptides, which are supposed to be really, really like good in terms of skincare. However, in terms of the science behind peptides, the jury is still kind of like out. As in like people aren't 100% sure if it's actually really beneficial in terms of like an anti-aging ingredient, or if it's just beneficial, I think, in that it's like a hydrator, so it like plumps up your skin because it retains water as like a humectant. However, if it turns out that peptides are effective, I don't think you need to be paying Drunk Elephant levels of money in order to incorporate peptides into your skincare routine. The thing with me and Drunk Elephant is I actually don't have a problem with the vast majority of their products. I find that their products tend to be like average to good. They tend to be effective. They're just insanely overpriced, right? I mentioned this in my last Empties video where I discussed their like vitamin C serum. That was a decent vitamin C serum, but it did not do anything for me that any other L-ascorbic acid serum with 15% L-ascorbic acid would not have done. And that really is my main gripe with Drunk Elephant. It is average, middling skincare. There is no earthly reason to be spending that much money for average skincare unless you're just like very rich and you have the funds to do so. If it's within your budget to be like blowing money on absolutely average skincare, like sure, go ahead, use Drunk Elephant. This is not like an offensive or bad cream. But if you're a person for whom like Drunk Elephant really is just like not in your budget, like I'm here to tell you that saving up to buy Drunk Elephant skincare like isn't going to give you miraculously good skin, and it's definitely not going to give you better skin than things that are a hell of a lot cheaper than a routine from Drunk Elephant. So that's my little rant on that. The last sort of skincare bit before I get into the makeup is this little sample of the Glow Recipe Watermelon Sleeping Mask. Remember how I said this smells like apple Jolly Rancher? This smells like watermelon Jolly Rancher. My God, it is scented. As a sleeping mask, this was average. I think if you actually have really dry skin, this is not going to be a good sleeping mask for you at all. I think this is a sleeping mask much like the Laneige water sleeping mask. One of the main differences between this and the Laneige sleeping pack is that this apparently has like a little bit of AHA in it. So AHAs are a mild exfoliant, like they exfoliate at the surface level of your skin, and they're known to help with like your skin brightness and hyperpigmentation. But I don't think this water sleeping pack has a high enough quantity to actually see exfoliating benefits from it. Also, the fragrance of this is very, very overwhelming. If you're a person who's sensitive to smells, not just like your skin is sensitive to smell, but like your nose is really sensitive to smells, like I think this will be almost unbearable, because that watermelon Jolly Rancher smell, like it's there, it's present. You know, I used to be like a really, really intense user of sleeping masks and sleeping packs, and I do still have the Laneige water sleeping pack and one from COSRX, the overnight honey mask that I'm working through, but like I don't really see the utility for a sleeping pack anymore. I feel like your moisturizer should be a legit enough moisturizer that you don't need to use a sleeping pack. Like, do you get what I mean? I feel like instead of buying this like extra product that is a sleeping pack, I think that it would be better to just find a good moisturizer that is like nicely occlusive for the nighttime, that's really gonna like seal in the moisture and all of your like serums and toners into your skin, instead of wasting money on an additional step that is a sleeping mask. So for that reason, because I feel like sleeping masks are like a weird extra unnecessary step that I feel like capitalism just sort of invented in order to sell us like an extra product, I would not recommend this. Also, if you have sensitive skin, stay the hell away from this. This is so heavily fragranced. I also think this is overpriced, right? Like, I compared this to the Laneige Water Sleeping Pack, which I believe is in the $30 range in Canada. This is in like $50-some range in Canada. So like, if you are hell-bent on getting a sleeping mask, I think getting the Laneige Water Sleeping Pack would be a better value for your money than getting this. All right, I am finally done ranting about skincare and we can move on to makeup. So let's discuss one that is going to be real quick, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to link the video in the cards where I talk in great detail about this product, and I'm going to make sure that the video in the cards is actually linked to the exact timestamp where I begin talking about this product, so you can just like watch that if you're interested instead of having to like search through the video for this. So this is the Smashbox liquid lipstick in the shade Bawse. This was the Smashbox Lily Sing collaboration. I talked about like my complicated feelings about Lily Sing, my complicated feelings around this lip product, and all of this kind of stuff in the video that I have linked up in the cards. This bad boy, she's done. She's dried. Like, what little is left in there, and there's actually not very much left in there. There's like product caked along the sides, but I can actually see like the very bottom of this. There is no liquid inside this liquid lipstick anymore. This is just like a solid, intense, dry, crusty, flaky chunk. This is a very like iconic lipstick in my life. Like, my early 20s are very heavily marked by this lipstick, so I am like a little bit sad to see it go. This is just, it's like a traditional liquid lipstick formula, which means it's bulletproof, but it's also very dry. Like, the Smashbox liquid lipstick formula is a solid one as far as liquid lipstick formulas go. However, I can see that the 2010s are dying and that the 2020s have nearly arrived, and the liquid lipstick trend is over, right? The vast majority of people don't really want very matte liquid lipsticks anymore. I, for one, will probably always want a really matte red formula, whether that's necessarily a liquid lipstick like the Smashbox one or just like a very dry matte lipstick. So the thing that has replaced this in my collection, like I didn't have to go buy it, I just had decluttered it to my sister and I got it back, is the Retro Matte lipstick in the shade Ruby Woo by MAC, which is pretty much as dry as a liquid lipstick, but it's in a tube form. I don't know if I will ever repurchase this. There is something to be said about having a lip product that is linked to a particular time in my life. The idea that this was like the liquid lipstick for me from the years like 21 to 25, and that from 25 onwards, like, I will discover new lipsticks that I like, new colors, new formulas, new brands. There's something nice about that. I said I wasn't gonna talk that much about this liquid lipstick, but here we are. Oh my god, can I not shut up? Like, what? Okay, let's move on to some concealers. Okay, so this right here, this is the iconic Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. I have pulled out the stopper on this and you can literally see through parts of the tube. Like, I have scraped at the sides. That's how much I've used this tube up. There's truly like nothing really left in this tube that is usable. This is in the shade Medium Dark 1 Biscuit. This was the very, very first high-end concealer I bought, and this is one of those products that like straight up like YouTube made me buy it. Like, remember back in the day, like everyone used to rave about this concealer, and then everyone started raving about the Urban Decay concealer, and then everyone started raving about the Sephora collection concealer, and then suddenly the pendulum like swung the other way, and then all of a sudden the entire beauty community was like really, really obsessed with very, very intensely high coverage concealers like Tarte Shape Tape. Why am I going through the history of concealers on beauty YouTube for you? Anyway, this is like an OG cult classic. This was like the concealer, and so I saved up like a bunch of my money and then made a poor financial decision as a broke student to go buy this concealer. Before I did that, however, I looked up dupes of the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer, and I bought this Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, which everyone said was a dupe for the Nars concealer because they came in very, very similar packaging. Now, whichever person and persons, because there were multiple people on beauty YouTube who said that this Maybelline Fit Me Concealer was a dupe for the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer, all of the people who said that, y'all are scamming, lying clowns. There, I said it. In no way, shape, or form is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer at all a dupe for the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. The texture of the two is entirely different. So the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer is actually like creamy. I don't know if I would agree with the claim that it is radiant, right? Much like the Nars Sheer Glow Foundation, which is a foundation that is neither sheer nor glowy. I think that this is a little bit of a misnomer because the name of it suggests that it would be like a concealer for people who have really dry skin. This actually was a great concealer for my like oily combination skin. I would use this only on my under eyes, and I found that like putting literally just like one dot of it and then spreading it out would give me like a very nice natural finish. I said earlier that the texture of this actually does feel really creamy, and what I mean by that is it feels sort of like thick and creamy, right? This is not a very thin or runny concealer. It is a cream-like concealer. And because of that, I did find that this creases a little bit under my eyes. Now, I will say I don't think I've ever in my life found a concealer that doesn't crease under my eyes. It doesn't matter what brand of concealer I'm using. The one currently underneath my eyes right now is freaking YSL, and guess what? It's still creasing. This Nars one creased, even this Maybelline Fit Me creased. And that includes with all of the different powders that I've tried. Charlotte Tilbury, Laura Mercier, Ben Nye Banana Powder, doesn't matter. Concealer is just gonna crease. This was actually like a pretty good concealer. I especially think that of its time, like back like 5-6 years ago, this probably was one of the best concealers on the market, which made it sort of worth its price. I don't know if that's necessarily true today. At its time, this was like a revolutionary concealer. This was a very high quality concealer. It was hard to find things like it. I think in the year 2019, the world of makeup has expanded so much that that is just no longer the case. And I don't know if I would ever actually repurchase this concealer, but I'm glad I emptied it up and I like used every last drop of it and got my money's worth. This Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, as I was saying, absolutely not a dupe for the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. Because unlike the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer, this is like a very thin and watery concealer, right? This provides little to no coverage in comparison to the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. In fact, I found that when I use this in my under eye area, it would somehow make my under eye area look worse. I've used up like a fair amount of it. I don't know if it's like visible to see, but there's only about this much concealer left. However, what little is left in the tube is like weirdly beginning to separate. Like I can see like layers of product in the concealer that are all these different colors. And as you recall me saying like a little bit back, I bought this concealer before I bought this one. So I'm gonna say goodbye to this one because I don't wanna hazard my skin health or eye health by using this as an under eye concealer. I do still have like a couple under eye concealers floating around, so there's no need for a repurchase at this particular point in time, but I'm saying my farewell to this and putting this in the empties because the side of a concealer should not look like a many layered parfait. So last couple bits of makeup. So this is a mini size of the Benefit Gimme Brow Gel. This was the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. So I'm gonna link the video where I talked about when I got this and the circumstances under which I got this up in the cards. I'm gonna link it with the timestamp where I'm actually talking about my experience buying this. This one time I was with my friend in Sephora, she was buying some skincare, I was having a trash day, and so I just was like, F it, let me just get some 100-point perks. So I basically got these two as 100-point perks at the same time. And this was genuinely like such a dumb thing on my part. This is a light brown brow gel and I did not check to see what color it was before just impulsively getting it. So this was just like colossally stupid on my part. I've just been using it on top of my much darker brow pencil just to try and use it up, and I have. It's like all the way used up now. It's like fully dried. I ended up getting as a 100-point perk the Anastasia brow gel, so that is what I'm using up right now. That's also almost over, but my experience of using this, mediocre at best, and that's disregarding like the color mismatch. I genuinely don't see a difference for me and my brows at the very least between this Benefit Give Me Brow and the Essence Make Me Brow Gel that I use. Both of them kind of do the same thing for me because they're not the only product that I use in my brows. Like I use a pencil and then I use the gel just to kind of make sure everything's in good shape, pointing in the right direction. So I don't think I would ever purchase the full size of this, even in the correct color, because brows are not a thing that I think are worth spending a lot of money on, for me at least. Next up is this eyeliner. This is the Sephora Stylographic Fine Line Waterproof Eyeliner. This has I believe this is a felt tip and not a brush tip. So I bought this eyeliner right before I had to go to a wedding in India because I was like, oh, I'm probably gonna like cry. Let me get a waterproof eyeliner and some waterproof mascara just in case. And there were so many problems with this eyeliner. First of all, this is not a truly black eyeliner. So on my skin tone, if I just do kind of like one pass of the eyeliner, it tends to look something more of like a slate gray color instead of like a true full black. On top of the pigmentation issue, this was not waterproof. Like, I got caught in like a monsoon storm in India with this eyeliner and it just like slid right off my face. Like it had never been there. Like I had never bothered to put eyeliner on. Funnily enough, my mascara stayed in place, but this eyeliner, gone. Quite possibly the only sort of redeeming quality about this eyeliner was that it was in fact a very, very fine tip pen. So I was in fact able to create a very thin, beautiful, and precise line of eyeliner with it. It just so happened to be that that thin, beautiful, precise line looked slate gray, not black, and it was in no way, shape, or form waterproof. This is like ancient. I don't know why it was still lounging around in my collection. It's completely dried out, and even if it weren't, it has been in my collection for way too long for me to feel safe about using it near my eyes. So here we have the Covergirl Supersizer Fiber Mascara, the L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black Mascara, the Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir Mascara. This was like a mini size that was, I think, like 100-point perk or something. And then this mini size of the Milk Makeup Kush Mascara. Now, the reason why all four of these mascaras need to go is because all four of them have been open since before my no-buy year started. My no-buy year started in February, and we are now nearing the end of October, which means every last one of these is well past the point where I need to be throwing them out. I'm actually a person who's like usually very, very diligent about my mascaras. Like I throw them out every like 4 to 5 months, but this year has just been like so weird and hectic so far that I kind of lost track of when I had opened a bunch of these mascaras and how long I had been using them for. So of these four mascaras, if I were to rank them from best to worst, they would be ranked like this. So the best one would be this CoverGirl Supersizer Fiber Mascara. There are little fibers in the mascara that help build up volume and length. If you like lengthening mascaras, which I actually have come to realize that I think I prefer most of the time lengthening mascaras to volumizing mascaras, and that's because I tend to wear eyeliner in my day-to-day life. For me, it's important that a mascara lengthen my eyelashes so that they're able to actually show up above the line that my eyeliner has drawn. So I have realized that I actually really like good, solid, lengthening mascaras that make my eyelashes look forever long. And this CoverGirl Supersizer mascara actually does that for me. It never makes my eyelashes look clumpy or spidery. I can add like as many layers as I want. It makes my eyelashes look like very long, very beautiful. By the way, I'm like not a person who ever wears false lashes. I don't even know how to wear false eyelashes. So if you're looking for mascaras that like go well with false eyelashes, I'm not a good person to ask. But for my purposes, like of these four mascaras, CoverGirl, Milk, L'Oreal Voluminous, and Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir, this one was my absolute favorite, and once all of my other mascaras run out, this one is probably the one that I'll actually repurchase. My second favorite was the Milk Makeup Kush Mascara. This is like a mini size that I bought back in like January. This is like a very, very good volumizing mascara. On the very few days where I like would not wear eyeliner, but I wanted to wear mascara, this would tend to be the mascara that I reach for because I find that it does actually give me like a very beautiful, volumized, kind of fluttery lash. Now I will say that on days when I wore eyeliner, this Milk Kush mascara was absolutely indistinguishable from the L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black, in that they basically made my eyelashes look around the same, they gave about the same effect, they looked about just as good. However, on days where I wasn't wearing any eyeliner, when mascara was the only thing that I was wearing, this Milk mascara looked ever so slightly better than this L'Oreal one, purely because it seemed to sort of thicken the base of my eyelashes a little bit better than the L'Oreal one did. But for me personally, like, I don't think the price of this, even the price that I paid for the mini size of this, is worth the cost. This mascara, by the way, is also like a fiber mascara, and apparently the fibers are in like little heart shapes. I don't really know how effective that is. The Kush mascara also does have a scent, by the way. It's like an earthy, herbally scent. I did not see like a marked difference between the L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black and the Milk Kush mascara to pay the extra money for the Milk one. The L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black mascara is a little bit similar to the Milk Kush mascara in that it's also like a brush wand, but hopefully you're sort of able to see that the Milk one is a little bit like fatter and a little bit shorter. Unlike the Milk mascara, the L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black does not have fibers. However, I find that like one coat of this versus 2 coats of this, they'll look exactly the same, right? Like you end up sort of getting almost that same sort of really like thick, lush, fluttery lash effect as you would with this. That brings us to the last mascara on this list, which is the Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir Major Volume Mascara. This is the mascara that I ranked dead last. The Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir Mascara is much like the Milk Kush Mascara, a brush style wand, and not like a rubberized wand like the Covergirl one. And this is actually a mascara that I had started using long before my No Buy year started. I used this for a couple of weeks and then I actually just like misplaced this in my house. I ended up finding this, of all things, in my bookshelf behind my Harry Potter books. And I didn't use it because like, hello, eye health, it had been so many months, blah blah blah, whatever. But I wanted to mention this because I knew exactly why I had like just chucked this mascara without a care in the back of my bookshelf. When you first put this mascara on, you're like, wow, because it really does give you a very intense, velvety, fluttery, volumized lash, right? I remember the experience of using this mascara and with like 1.5 coats, getting an experience that would take like 4 coats of this to achieve. This mascara made me look like I had like a very thin line of eyeliner on my upper eyelid, even though I didn't. However, this has got to be one of the most horribly flaky mascaras I have ever used in my life. Like within 2 hours of putting this on, I could see like tiny little black specks all underneath my eye. By the end of like a full-blown day that I'd been wearing this for like 8 or 9 hours, I feel like more of it was under my eyes than was actually still on my eyelashes. I was really afraid to wear this mascara anytime I ever wore contact lenses because I was worried that pieces of it would flake off and fall into my eye and get stuck on my contact lenses. So I don't know what on earth is wrong with the formula of this mascara, the Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir, but this was like truly horrible. 0 out of 10 would not recommend. And that is everything, folks. I do have like a couple of sheet masks and stuff here, but I made the executive decision even before I started filming this Empties that I would no longer put sheet masks in my Empties because as far as I'm concerned, they're basically like all the same. I use them for the same function, which is like psychological and not even linked to actual skincare benefits. So I'm no longer gonna like save the packaging of each sheet mask and talk about it in my Empties. So I just wanted to make a little PSA about that. Like you all won't be seeing these anymore. I won't really be talking about them because like how much is there really to say about sheet masks that I have not said in my previous Empties videos already? This video has gone on for long enough. Like I can tell it's a really long video when my battery runs out and I have to recharge it, and I've had to do that once already. So I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the very end. And as always, I hope you have a great upcoming week. And even if the rest of your week ends up becoming messy or imperfect, I hope that you're still able to create and experience some truly beautiful moments. Thanks for watching. Bye!